Tennessee, for instance, personally removed the ropes that were segregating the audience. So that's what a good leader do. He will keep looking at how the environment around him is and without.
So if we look now at the corner of the rail, and we saw that within our film we watched in the first half of the week. So the common myth is that money is the only thing that matters here, and the only thing that would matter to people or leaders. We read in Adam Smith that the rich glory in their richness and the poor are ashamed of their poverty. So how do you put a value on a religious leader without a monetary value attached to him? So what is his coin of the realm?
Throughout our discussion, we have been reinforcing of the fact that by now it has to be clear that for Billy Graham, the coin of the realm was fulfilling the mission of Christ, that is, preaching gospel to the maximum possible number of followers and if possible to the whole world. So he probably, according to me, he probably measured his success by the number of people with whom he could share the message of the God with. So in that case, he was undeniably successful because he could really touch millions of hearts of people with his message.
Look guys, you're not fooling anybody. He used his salesman techniques and clever trickery to amass $25 million. The Bible says it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than the rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So it begs the question, and I ask your audience, why didn't he give, let's not say $20 million, let's not say $10 million, $5 million to the poor if he was so good?
Well, Irene, the camel passage on the Bible has a different number of interpretations. But the Bible itself, which Billy Graham used to follow closely, doesn't put a curse on regions at all. What it says, and I think that relates to the passage, is wherever you put your heart into, that's where your God is. So Billy Graham really had the heart, not in the money, but on people. We actually, as part of the Billy Graham Evangelical Association, we had this World Relief Fund that actually helped areas that were devastated, people in really serious conditions. There's actually a village in India that we actually decided to name after Billy Graham because of that age. And we have a video showing that in action.
Billy Graham is known for preaching the gospel in stadiums all around the world, but you might not know he's also spent a lot of time in disaster zones, and that's what a special display for the next couple of months at the Billy Graham Library is highlighting. It's called Compassion in Crisis, and you can see it if you visit between now and the end of October. And it's highlighting the ways that the Graham family, including Billy Graham and his son Franklin Graham, have responded in times of crisis, whether we're talking about the Oklahoma City bombing or earthquakes and tsunamis all throughout the world. One of the sections is all about the September 11th attacks. Here you can see Franklin Graham at Ground Zero shortly after September 11th, 2001. And this is actually when he got the idea to form the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team, a network of chaplains that responds in times of crisis. This started out of the ashes of 9/11 when Franklin Graham saw people wandering around the streets of New York City just looking lost and hopeless. You can see some of the original flyers that were handed out to people who might want to talk or pray. You can also see something very special here. This is a steel cross made from the metal of the North Tower of the World Trade Center and given to Billy Graham by a retired New York City police officer. So we hope that you'll take some time to come visit and check out this special display now through October at the Billy Graham Library. For more, check out billygrahamlibrary.org.
So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of it today, and this is absolutely up your street, Irene. So we're in the technocratic via charismatic. And we get to the Torsten people of taste. Was that difficult reading? And was Billy Graham really all hat, no cattle, as they say in Texas? There's no denying that Billy Graham knew the entire scriptures backwards and forwards and could interpret it for many people. He helped millions of followers in 185 countries spanning all continents. This chart here shows you the reach and admiration rank of Billy Graham, and out of all of the people that people could actually quote as who they admired, he was number 5 in America. And for those of you who thought we would maybe put some other flags up, we may not reach today at number 24.
So my thoughts is it's undeniable that Billy Graham was charismatic. I mean, there's no way to counter-argument the fact that he brought hundreds of thousands of people shooting him 2.5 billion overall. But one interesting aspect in that is that he crafted his skills. One interesting story is that he was still a young man listening on the radio waves on their parents' radio car, and he would hear this guy speaking really impressively, strongly. And that guy happened to be Adolf Hitler. So that was actually a skill that he picked up, not only his speaking style, but also his body language. Do not be shocked. Take a look at it.
All the other loves can be influenced by agape love. Agape love is a supernatural love. A love that we know nothing about apart from God. It's God's love. It's so deep and so wide and so high and so great and has such dimensions to it that no words in any language can describe it.
Shocking, shocking, shocking. Graham wrote many books. In one of his autobiographies, he said how excited he was listening to Adolf Hitler on the radio. So after studying the most hated man in our history, he adopted his style of speaking, his intonation, his body language, and it was merely just to sell more books, more training, more seminars, etc.
Surprisingly, I agree with Irene on this point that people ferociously consume any content that is related to his name. But what we need to observe here is that content was not absorbed because of his style, or not just his style. It was because of the content that was in them. Let it be books or movies. He had a clean mastery of his sermons, and he had a clean mastery of his scriptures, which he used as the basis of his sermons. So because of this, he was undisputed even by his competitors in this technocratic merits of his messages. We learned in Veblen's Captain of Industry that having a clear mastery of your trade can result in a successful entrepreneur. Veblen urges those captains to stay humble and grounded, which Billy Graham did with the Bible as his moral compass. So there you have it, Francis. Billy Graham was both charismatic and also technocratic.
Okay, so our last section we're going to look at, it was Billy Graham, was he really transforming people's lives and beliefs, or was he really just selling Bibles and religious slogans?
Francis, as we come to the end of the discussion, I don't think there's any doubt about him being a transformational leader. He's definitely a transformational leader. But before I go ahead with my point, I would like to show you a small video that will support my point.
Even now, He's scanning your heart and your mind and your soul and your spirit.
I'm absolutely convinced that this could be the beginning of a great worldwide move of the Spirit of God.
You know, a thing that sort of bothered me this year is I looked at the stores and saw the displays in the mad pre-Christmas rush was the commercialization of Christmas. That's always bothered me. Ever since I was a kid, I couldn't understand why everybody was making money and we put such a materialistic emphasis on Christmas when Christmas was actually the birthday of Jesus Christ.
People ask me everywhere I go, is there any hope for me?
As pessoas em toda parte que eu vou me perguntam, há esperança para mim.
Alcoholics,
Pessoas alcoólatras,
prostitutes,
prostitutas,
robbers,
ladrões,
murderers,
assassinos,
prisoners,
prisioneiros,
spiritists.
espiritistas.
They say, is there any hope for me?
Eles perguntam, há uma esperança para mim.
Well, I've never murdered anybody. Did you ever have any jealousy in your heart, or did you ever have hate for somebody? Then you committed murder. Because God judges not only the outward things you do, it's the inward things that you're thinking that He judges.
Guys, after this video, I would like to take you back to our first class. So, what have we been learning? What successful leaders really strongly do? How they communicate through their actions, through their speeches, how they leave, how they communicate a vision, how they leave an influence on the followers. In that regard, Billy Graham has really improved the morale of the people. He could really undoubtedly motivate the people and got them to believe in something, got them to believe in themselves and also something bigger than themselves.
Yeah, but with that being said, we can also also say that he probably capitalized on this visceral connection that he made with people. He was an ex-hairbrush salesman and he knew these techniques and was just looking for the next best product to sell. In being able to connect with people, he took advantage of his ability to let them believe in something better and then made money off of it.
Well, I think there's a clear distinction there. You have to realize that people would not only consume what Billy Graham produced, they would actually follow the steps. They would literally become disciples of Jesus Christ, just as Billy Graham was. So people would closely follow his steps. For instance, the famous Johnny Cash, country artist, he took more than 1 year and a half to follow Billy Graham at these rallies. And he tells how that transformed his own life, pulled him out of a really, really dark alcohol and drug addiction.
And then you see people sleeping under the bridges that have become addicted to drugs and alcohol. Everybody has to bottom out on it once they become addicted and habituated to it. I've heard people say that they felt so bad that they thought they were going to die. I remember a time during my hospitalization that I felt so bad I was afraid I was going to live. I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I thank God for bringing me out of it and putting me back up on my feet and bringing me back to do the thing I love to do most of all.